show in New York City, and we met then. And we live in Boulder. Hey, I live in Boulder. We should get together. And a couple of weeks after we got back from that, Rick and I started playing together, and I was going to be his guitar player on his third solo record. And then when Mark Andy started sitting in with us, it really felt like a band. And Rick said, you know, I know this guy in Washington, D.C., Larry Burnett, who has great songs, and he and I sing great together. You want to hear a song? And Mark and I went, yeah. First song that we heard of Larry Burnett's was Cinderella. And we said, get him out here. And on our first week of practice, once we had Rick and Larry and Mark and I, we had 25 original songs to work out in the first week, and many of those songs, Mexico and Cinderella and Living, ended up being on our first record 2 years later.
I mean, you think about a run that you guys had from, I guess, what, 76 to 78. I mean, you know, the big three.
Big three.
You know, you look at the Stones, Beggar's Banquet, right? And Sticky Fingers and Exile. I mean, you know, not too many bands put together 3 amazing records in a row. You guys were living the dream back then. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and we had so many songs to choose from. And, you know, it was really magical and pretty much a fated type of thing for the first couple of years. Nice to see all you folks in 11 years.
All right, by the way, the rest of the guys are very limited in their talking because of their probation officers. They can't speak too much. And this guy does a lot of talking. He's not only sometimes the Jesus, and also plays the baby, so I guess you get paid double for this cruise, right?
I'm working on triple, but you know, we'll get there.
All right. Well, you know, I think Ambrosia might need a singer.
Sorry, Dave.
Kid. But you know, I mean, think about some of the bands that you guys toured with. I mean, Fleetwood Mac, right?
Rumors tour, and the White Album too. But by the time the Rumors came out, they knew that we were a really good opening act for a 35-minute set that could go on without having a sound check. You know, and we played a lot of gigs with the Rumors tour, and it was just the most amazing. They were the biggest band in the world then.
Yeah, that record, yeah, I mean, one of the biggest selling records of all time. And also Mick Fleetwood, you know, as busy as he was, wanting to take time out of his schedule to manage you guys, right?
Wow, you've done your homework.
No, I'm just a big fan.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Mick Fleetwood was our manager for about 2 weeks. Well, longer, but the story goes that, and Ahmet Ertegun from Atlantic Records was a smart man. And we made our first album, and it went great, and we suddenly toured with everybody in the world, and when it came time to make our second record, we weren't really that aware of it, but we didn't make as good a second record as we needed to follow that first one. And Ahmet Ertegun was in the studio with us in LA for our playback part. And played the record, and we all looked at Ahmet like, what'd you think? And Ahmet went, this album isn't good enough. You need to go back in the studio, Rick write a few more songs, redo it. I know you're on the road with Fleetwood Mac. Let's redo that album. And he was absolutely right. We put our second album and didn't get caught with that sophomore jinx. Thank you, Ahmet Ertegun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wish there were guys like that, you know, around corporations that really gave a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody got any questions for the guys in Firefall?
We even have a microphone out there for
There's a
you.
microphone out there. Oh, right there.
In the front.
Have you guys had a chance to catch many of the other bands? And if so, each of you would answer this. Who hasn't touched?
Who have we what with the most? We need to turn that mic up a little bit, I think.
She asked if we'd seen any of the other bands on the cruise, and if so, which ones impressed us the most.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Well, what's interesting is that, I mean, we used to tour a lot with Starship. We still tour a lot with Ambrosia. And Firefall's lucky enough to have the hits to play, and we play a lot of, 3 and 4 band shows with our friends in Pablo Cruz and Ambrosia and Orleans and Atlanta Rhythm Section and Pure Prairie. in Poco before Rusty and Paul died. So yeah, we know a lot of the people. I saw the zombies last night out in the pool. They were great. And it's so nice to mingle and see people you haven't seen for 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
John, how about you?
I'll tell you, I've seen a few. Lighthouse killed me yesterday. Little River Band was just amazing. And you get all the vocal bands that can still do it are pretty amazing, right? So pretty much everybody. I've never seen Dave Mason before, and so we got to meet Johnny Samacaro, so that for me was just a nice big thrill. And haven't met Dave yet, but seeing Dave still doing it and his voice is still there. Oh my gosh, and the hands are there. That for me was pretty eye-opening for me.
Yeah, pretty amazing with Dave Mason, right? Played with Hendrix on the all on the Watchtower, and the Stones played with Johnny. I mean, this is next level stuff. Every night, all these bands are bringing it. I mean, Zombies, Incredibles, you mentioned Little River Band. I mean, Starship, Crush Hour, Nicky Thomas.
Starting the night out with some high note that nobody except Nicky can hit. Unbelievable.
Anybody else got questions?